Well, it turns over free. That's a good sign. Welcome back to Phillips Hot Rod Garage. All right, so on the channel, we've been working on the Model A for quite a while. We have had a couple of videos on some random stuff, like I did the little 57 Chevrolet project for a guy a while back, but I've decided to keep throwing in the mix a few random projects just to keep the channel fun. So the Model A's been a long project. We got a long way to go. So in the meantime, I want to start a new series of videos on this little Flathead V8. It has been rebuilt. The crank has been turned. There's a tag on it that says that the rods and the mains have been turned 10 thousandths. The cylinders are standard. It is a standard bore 239. The cylinders are in excellent condition. The engine, you just saw it turns over. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a series of videos on this engine, getting this thing running. We're going to build a run stand for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I got a video ready to go. So play the film. All right, guys, so on the little 1940 Flathead V8 project, I'm going to try to get that thing going as cheap as I can. I don't know if the engine's going to be any good or not. I hope it is. I think we're going to get it to run. So we're going to build a run stand for it and get it going, but I need a lot of parts for it. I need a distributor. I need water pumps. I got to have plugs, wires, complete gasket set, fuel pump set up. Got to rebuild a carburetor to go on it. So I need a lot of stuff for it, and one of the things I need is a starter. So I'm going to try to get the starter off this old stuck and rusted up 59AB right here and see if I can get it working, see if it's any good. Let's try to get this starter off and see if we can get it off without breaking these bolts. Oh, it's a miracle. That one's turning. All right. Wow, guys, that's not very promising. That thing has had a lot of water in it. It is really bad, caked up with rust. All right. Well, things aren't looking too good for this old starter. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Now, this situation could be isolated to just the Bendix area. The inside may look better. So at least what I want to do is pop the end of it off and see what it looks like on the inside. I don't want to just automatically assume it's no good. It might be nice and clean on the inside. Who knows? It's actually not quite as bad on the inside as I expected to see. All right, so the brush plate here looks pretty good. The springs are in good shape. The bushing looks to be pretty good down in there. So I could definitely use that. if the rest of this in here is any good. That looks pretty good. All right, so I'm actually surprised. It does not look too bad inside. So if I can get this thing to turn on this end, get it freed up, and get this Bendix off without damaging the shaft, then I can just put a new Bendix on it, clean this thing up, and I think I can get it working. So I did have my doubts about it for a while, but now I'm starting to feel like, hey, it may be good enough to get that old engine running after all. All right, well, let's check and see if this thing will actually turn now. I can't turn it by hand. Maybe I can spin it in this vise, though. Oh, look at there. Look at there. It actually turns. I'm really having a hard time believing that this starter's actually gonna turn out to be pretty good. The surface here where the brushes ride is in good shape. The brushes, there's enough left of them to actually run the starter. It's not froze up, it's turning. The stud's good right here where the cable goes on, the nut comes on and off it, okay. If I can get this Bendix off of here without damaging that shaft so I can put a new Bendix on it, I think I'm gonna be able to finish taking this thing apart, clean it up good, and get it running. I mean, I'm pretty confident that most likely it's gonna be a good one. So that's where I'm at on this deal. All right, guys, well, it's been a couple of days since I worked on this old starter. So what I got to do now is get a little bit of this caked up grease off. I want to try to get this Bendix off, and I want to get this front plate off, get the center section off of this thing, so I can try to get this front bushing freed up. It is turning, but it's a little stiff. So I want to try to get some lubrication down into that. So let's clean a little bit of this off and so we can get this thing the rest of the way apart. All right, well, that's clean enough. Let's see if we can get this thing apart here. All right, I believe it's moved some. It's starting to open up a little gap in here. Oh yeah, did you see that? Just came right apart. It is kind of crusty in there. Just clean it up a little bit. Blow it out with an air blower real good. I'll take it outside to do that. And then try to get this bushing freed up. All right, guys, So far, everything on the starter has turned out pretty good. This all cleaned up real good here. The bushing turned out good here. So I'm going to clean up the main housing for it. I don't know exactly what you call it. And get ready to start reassembling this thing. See if I can't stick some power to it and hear it run. All right, so everything's cleaned up and ready to go back together. You can see here the armature looks really nice and smooth. Not a lot of wear on it. Brush plate looks good. Nothing wrong with that. And these brushes are thick enough to still run. That'll run for a long time. You got to remember it's what's on the inside that counts. Doesn't matter how rough the outside looks. If the inside components are good, the starter will work good. So let's stick it together and see if it'll run. All right, so it's together now. All I got to do is put the brushes in, and this part can get tricky for some people. I've read online where people said they just gave up and threw them in the corner and bought another starter because they got so aggravated trying to put these brushes in. But in case you're watching this video and you're going to pull one of these starters apart, I'm going to show you how to put these brushes in the easy way. Check this out. All right, so what we got going on down in here is we've got the brush holder right here, a little rectangular part. The brush lies down inside there. Here's the brush that slides down in there. And then we've got a spring right here. This is what people fight with, trying to get the brush down in there under that spring, but it's really simple. All you need is a 90-degree pick. One of these right here. And you put the pick in here under the spring and just pull up against the spring like that, and then slide the brush right down in the groove. All right, I'm going to try to stay out from in front of the camera if I can so you can see it. But I might block it just a little bit, but I'll try to get it in place and then get it where you can see it. Okay, I got it started down in there. Just push this down in, put the spring back down on it, and there it is. It's ready to go. Just that simple. But it's just like anything else. Having done it before does help, but it's really not that bad, really. All right, I got them. We're gonna need this. All right, guys. One of three things is about to happen. One, it's gonna run good. Two, nothing's gonna happen at all. Or three, we're gonna see a bunch of smoke. All we can do is flip the switch and see. Hey, it's like Doc Brown says on Back to the Future. It works! It works! I'm no Doc Brown, but my starter works. So I'm pretty happy about that, guys. Pretty happy about that. So, I can't believe this old starter turned around and started working that good. Starting with an old rusted up, stuck piece of junk that was on its way to the scrapper. That whole 59 AB engine transmission, that is a 39 transmission. And this starter, it was all on its way to the scrapper, and we saved it from the scrapper. So I'm pretty happy about that. All right, so now the thing to do is to get the Bendix off of here, because I don't want to spend any money on a new Bendix if this one's gonna not be able to come off very well, or if it's going to damage the shaft trying to get it off. So hopefully I can get that off and the thing's going to work good. Pretty excited at this point. There we go. Boy, look at there. That bolt came right out. That makes me happy. If y'all watch Bad Chad, On his videos, he says, I'm just gonna do what makes me happy. Well, this makes me happy. All right, so that was a lot of heating and beating. So let's check it one more time. Yeah, I don't think we heard it. Doing real good. So time to get a Bendix ordered for this thing. All right, so let's look in this old parts catalog. This is a chassis part and accessories catalog. It covers passenger cars 28 to 48 and trucks 28 to 47. This is from November of 1950. It's an early copy in excellent condition. If you're looking for one of these, you can pick them up used. They do have them on eBay. Amazon has them used sometimes, and they also sell them new because they do reprint these. So let's take a look in here, see what starter drive we're going to need. Starting motor is on page 493. So let's go back to page 493. Right there. All right, there's the starter motor. And we're looking for the starter drive, commonly called the Bendix. I think Bendix is a name brand, but this has been called a Bendix my whole life. But it is officially a starter drive. This is the one I have. This one is a little different style. I'm gonna replace it with the one I have. It's a little less expensive than this one anyway, but they may interchange. I'm not really sure if they will or not. I really don't know that much about them, but I'm gonna go ahead and order this one, B11350. I'll get one of those ordered this week, and then we'll be able to get that starter put on that engine, get it where it'll spin it over. That makes me happy. All right, we're heading in the right direction, so here's the plan. In the next video on this engine project, I'm gonna go ahead and put the starter drive onto the starter so I can bolt it up to the engine. And then we're gonna clean the deck surfaces, clean off the tops of the pistons, the tops of the valves here. We're going to clean out the cylinders, lubricate everything up real good, and then we're gonna put some power on the starter and spin this engine over with the starter several times. Just let it spin a while. We're gonna do that so that we can check and make sure that there's no issues with the valve train. I wanna make sure the valves are lubricated well, moving up and down freely as they should. Make sure the valve springs are okay. Then we're gonna make sure that the valves are opening as far as they should. Want to make sure we don't have any wiped out lobes on the camshaft or anything, because we don't know the condition of the engine. So now's the time to verify that the valve train's working correctly while the heads are off. And so we got the intake off, we got the heads off, so it's going to be easy to see what's going on in there. So that's what we're going to do in the next video, so you don't want to miss that one. And as soon as we get it spinning over freely and everything's good with that, we're going to reseal it up with some new gaskets. Then we're gonna rebuild the water pumps most likely, because I can rebuild these a little bit cheaper than I can replace them. So I'm gonna try my hand at rebuilding them. Hopefully that'll work out. So in the meantime, I've got to get back on this trunk. I've got this piece cleaned. All the rust is off of it now. It's ready to start welding in. So I'm going to go ahead and get started welding on this trunk lid. I'll have more videos on the Flathead coming out as I get the parts in. They probably won't be every week, but we are still on the Model A project. So this trunk, a video will be coming out on this next week. That'll be the next video, welding up this trunk and getting this patch panel to fit. So I'm gonna get cranked off on it right now, get out my TIG welder and get started. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys hanging out to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed this series on this Flathead. I'm getting excited about it. As soon as I get this engine running, I'm gonna find something to put it in. I'll see you guys in the next one.